The year of the fire, which was June 8th, 2014, I called Brian over and I said, I'd like to redo the waterfall. He said, I can even make it better.
Well, and this is so nice too because it's at the front of your house. The first thing you see when you come down the driveway is this.
That's where we greet everyone.
We got a pretty neat water feature back here, don't we?
Yeah, I mean, she's 100% living the aquascape lifestyle. She grew up in northern Wisconsin, grew up on water, bought the house because of the Fox River.
Now look at the river right there. Once again, someone that loves water, they're on the river, and yet they bring it up close and personal with that sound of that waterfalls. A beautiful and warm day in Naperville, Illinois. Brian Helfrich, my top lieutenant in the construction department. I'm Greg Wittstock. Welcome to my channel, Greg Wittstock, the Pond Guy. This is all about living the aquascape lifestyle. This is a front yard water feature. You can hear it. Now check it out. If you've never known how to keep koi in a pondless waterfall, this is an example of how you can do it successfully. So Brian, what was your original vision? There was an existing water feature up on the top there, but you wanted to take advantage of this full slope, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, like as pond builders, when we see a slope, we get excited. I mean, we see them on the side of highways and we're like, a waterfall would look good there.
And in Illinois, that's almost a mountain. Second flattest state. And I love the fact that you designed this patio down here because you wanted a destination for them to be able to walk
through. We brought these steps in and stuff. And if you can't view it, like every water feature needs a place to relax by it. Nobody wants to just stand at the front door long enough. And when she said her husband usually likes to sit outside and relax with a cigar, I was like, done. Like, put a spot out here, let him sit here at night, we'll light this whole thing up. So right around 6, 7 o'clock at night, you know, when the sun starts coming down, like, imagine how great this is. All these bowls are lit up, each waterfall's lit up, there's some uplighting on these trees. I mean, it just turns into a really relaxing spot.
And talk a little bit about the pondless waterfall design, because this is an option for people.
It didn't make sense to put a big pond down here, right, with the fish and everything else. They travel a lot, they're busy, so they wanted something very low maintenance. So this just comes down, disappears into a 1,500 gallon reservoir.
Yep,
which is underneath this, you know, is our pondless vault. So there's an automatic fill valve right here. This is their check valve that's attached to the pump. Just circulates over and over again. The only reason we have the fill valve on there, it's not even running for 90% of the season. But when we get into like this drought that we've had right now, we get the hot, you know, we're at 95 degrees or something right now. There's a lot of evaporation. It's really easy for her to just come here, fill this up, turn it on, and she can forget about it.
Well, and the fact is, you designed a 1,500 gallon basin so they can run it year round. And
that was the only purpose. Right?
So there's enough depth, the ground's gonna always keep it warm, it's gonna be able to run and recirculate year round, and there's gonna be enough of reservoir. You don't get evaporation in the wintertime, but you do get ice formations, which is part of the enjoyment of a water feature in the winter.
Well, you could imagine, I mean, people have seen what big waterfalls look like frozen. That's a pretty big waterfall. And so looking at that ice castle formation, as you continue to pull up to the house, just as interesting as a running water feature. Whether it's getting consistently colder or warming back up, every day the ice changes.
Right.
So it's a different ice castle formation every single day.
Birds, wildlife, you name it. So Brian came over here to explain this story. This is great.
The year of the fire, which was June 8th, 2014, I called Brian over and I said, I'd like to redo the waterfall. This was just all grass. This was a pondless waterfall. And at the time, it wasn't even quite this fancy, but anyway.
I think it stopped there.
Right.
Not even here.
And it looked nice. And then when I told Brian, I said, what could you do, you know, for me to try to rectify this? And he said, I can even make it better. He said, let me give you 2 proposals. One to get it like it was, and one to something that I have in mind, which I really couldn't visualize, right? So I said, no problem. He came back and I thought, oh my God, one was, I don't even remember the price. All I know is one was A and one was Z. And I thought, you know what? After after this fire, this is my gift from me to me. So I never told my husband.
Hey! And how many years have you been married?
I'm not going to tell
Okay,
you.
okay. Well, we do know it's your birthday, right?
Yes.
Okay, so
We've
happy
been-
40th.
Thank you. We've been married over 40 years.
Wow!
So
great.
it's so anyways.
Wow!
So this is what we have, you know, and it makes a difference in terms of our property, how we view it in the wintertime.
Yeah.
We never shut it down. So I have Aquascape come and help me take out all the things that need to be taken out.
A
we
fall
just-
shutdown and a spring
Yes.
startup.
And then we fill it, you know, whenever it's needed, and we enjoy it all year round.
So there's not a lot of work is what you're saying.
No, and the great thing is there's always something comforting and enjoyable about water flowing.
Yes. Well, and this
And,
is so nice too because it's at the front of your house.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, the first thing you see when you come down the driveway
And
is
that's
this.
where we greet everyone. We're typically sitting there. And so John said, why are we going to put a patio there? I said, because Brian said it would look really good.
It does.
And so, you know, so we spend a lot of time there. And even in the winter months when it's kind of those weird days where it's not freezing,
Yeah.
we'll just like go
Yeah.
down there and chill a little
Well,
bit.
we love to hear that. And I mean, there's not a person that would come to your front door that not say something about this.
Oh, yeah. And the interesting thing is
Yeah.
they think my fish are real.
It's the first thing we noticed.
Yeah, we did.
I
So
love
they-
the fish.
So they try to be really cool about it. They said, I think one of your fish is stuck. And
That's
every
hilarious.
new visitor to the house,
That-
you know. So this is great. And I recommend anyone, if you know, it's just a nice feature. It's a wonderful feature. And it just adds so much to the house.
That's right.
You know.
So if you were to summarize up this investment, how would you summarize it up?
Fabulous, well worth it. Brian is wonderful to deal with.
Yep.
And like I said, he's really subtle. Didn't make a big fuss. He said, I'll just give you 2 proposals and you can decide which one you want. Now, what would I decide after seeing?
You made the right decision. This is a spectacular water feature. I love front yard water features because there's nothing that you could put in this space that would have as much curb appeal as a water feature.
Absolutely. We have lights at night. I mean, it's just fabulous.
And it's always changing, right?
Yeah.
With
And
the
you
seasons.
right. What's put in here just changes during the year, you know, so I think it's fabulous. You like my little spitters over there?
Yes.
That was her one requirement. She had those spitters. She said, how can we implement those
Yep.
into this
I think
feature?
it's spectacular.
You know, and he figured it out.
And
So
that's unique. You've never installed those spitters into one of our
Not in
bowls,
our
but you
bowls.
made it
Yeah.
happen.
I mean,
Well, it's
Yeah.
beautiful. It's a beautiful house, and you know we love showcasing how people live the aquascape lifestyle because everyone's got a unique one and one
Right.
way to do it. So thank you. Happy birthday.
thank you very
Yeah.
much.
And well, thanks for being a great
Oh, yeah.
aquascape customer. I'm glad you enjoy Brian so much.
Brian's
and
fantastic.
he's the man. I taught him everything he knows. And if you like this stuff, if you like to see what cool people are doing with unique water features and awesome properties, like, comment, subscribe, and follow along and inspire more people to live the aquascape lifestyle.
You won't regret it, I guarantee you.
And I love my job. We are out here on a beautiful day in Geneva, Illinois. I'm with Brian, my 23-year-long teammate. I deal with this all the time. We got a pretty neat water feature back here, don't we?
Yeah, I mean, she's 100% living the aquascape lifestyle. She's always grown up fishing. She grew up in northern Wisconsin, grew up on water and everything
Yep.
else, moved out this way, bought the house because of the Fox River that sits behind here.
And there's sometimes eagles back here.
there
isn't
are.
there?
There's nesting eagles that kind of move through the property all the time.
Look at this trellis.
Yeah. Anytime you see a trellis like this, it's a welcoming into the backyard and then more of, for me, an anticipation that you're going to see a whole lot more. So come on and we'll show you what we're talking about.
Wow, this is really matured. How long did we build this?
This has got to be about 6 years ago, right?
Gosh, I love it. Look at the ferns.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I haven't seen it in years.
What a garden. Look at the river right there. Once again, someone that loves water, they're on the river, and yet they bring it up close and personal with that sound of that waterfalls. What a little sanctuary. No wonder she gets bald eagles back here.
Yeah, right? Now that it's all grown in, doesn't it look like this is probably just a tributary feeding the river?
You can't even tell. Yeah, and it goes all the way down because I remember when we were digging that over there. I just want to go. I want to see
Yeah.
the rest. All right, so I've already figured out my favorite thing about this.
Well, you can't. I mean, you've only seen 10% of it.
It's the garden, man. It's so lush and natural, and the fact that it was just lawn.
When we dug the reservoir down there, which is a pretty large reservoir, about
We ran into
2,000
stuff.
This is a newer home. They took the old house and literally buried it in the backyard. And who knows if it was the original guys or hundreds of years ago when
Yes.
homes and stuff used to be on the river, they would just demolish them and then just throw dirt over the top. And we
Right.
found everything from car parts to bottles to
Yeah, I remember.
metal roofs and
so
all kinds
cool.
of stuff. And this is what I would call 100% a bird-loving stream. It's
Yes.
got a very, very gentle flow.
Yep.
And these
And wide
little
areas.
wading pools and stuff
Yeah.
where birds can easily get in there.
Well, look at this. All of this water goes into about 10 inches here and then opens up to probably 6 feet there. And that will help you attract birds
Yeah.
because they like that shallow, slow-moving water.
Now, isn't this cool, Greg?
I love it.
A bridge that takes you over to what appears to be a sunken fire pit area.
Yep.
And so this area here, all of these big boulders back in here are retaining the berm from that first waterfall that we saw facing
Yep.
the house.
Gorgeous.
I mean, you don't need the chairs. You can sit on these rocks,
Yeah.
sit by the fire, or sit on the chairs.
It's a landing point and once again a destination why you'd want to follow the stream, and then you discover this. And with that it keeps going.
Yeah.
It literally looks like it's connected to the water, but it isn't.
I feel like when you're sitting down in this spot here, you are literally connected to nature.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to leave.
I mean, you're underneath the giant canopy of this silver maple. There's butterflies and all kinds of dragonflies and stuff buzzing around through there, the bees, the babbling brook of that waterfall.
Have I said I love my job?
No, I have never heard that before.
So how long is this total stream?
And that's a good question, but
Because it twists and turns so much, it's hard to remember.
It's every bit of 85 feet.
So you got probably 40, 50 tons, maybe even more.
Oh, easily.
Yeah.
I think we have 75 tons of
Yes,
stone
well,
here.
I guess with the size of these rocks, I would say,
I mean,
yeah.
look at the size of the rock that I'm sitting on right here. I mean, this is an enormous rock. And then look at some of these boulders that are framing out those waterfalls. I mean, this rock over here,
That's a gorgeous rock.
this is a gorgeous, gorgeous rock. And so when we see these rocks, of course, we want to show them off, put them to frame out waterfalls. Look at how these ferns are just naturally wanting to grow out of the rocks. We didn't plant that. This is Mother Nature.
Yep.
How does a plant grow out of that? That is awesome.
You know, if you built this, a water feature of this magnitude out of small cobblestones, it wouldn't look natural. But this weathered limestone, this moss rock, and then the size of it, and then having it grow in with the whole goal is you don't know where the water ends and the land begins. Look at how these sedums are overgrown here. Where does the water end and the land begins? If this softens up that ring of pearls, look, so many people put little flat rocks around the edges or stack them up. You want to carve into the earth. You want that water to flow away and erode away the soil. Just like here, it's not, anything's elevated, it's all dug in. And it's just so stinking natural.
One of the things we really wanted to do with the design, like this is obviously where people are going to end up and sit. And we could have easily let the water feature finish right here. But the idea was to carry it on further and further and further, so you didn't know where it ended. It had the illusion that it went all the way down to the river. It's really, really a smart thing that I did.
So I love it, Brian, and I'm going to stick with my original thing about the garden because obviously water is the central theme here, but just all of the plants, all of the flowers, everything's just so natural. I mean, we're just sitting here and I'm just observing all of the wildlife that's coming.
Yeah, I saw an oriole, I saw a cedar waxwing, I saw blue jays, I
Wow.
saw yellow finches.
Wow.
You know, and she's planted it in a way to attract, you know, the birds as well. So the water, like you said, brings in all
Yes.
the wildlife, but then they stay
because of the way she's planted the garden.
Yeah, unbelievable garden, unbelievable house. I mean, look at this house. It's like a gingerbread house. And I think so many people spend so much of the time thinking about the homes that they live in, but I think the landscaping, especially a water feature, turns the house into a home because it's just an extension of the living space. And such a unique house, it's going to need a unique garden like this. And this is what living the aquascape lifestyle is all about. If you like this stuff, if this inspires you like it does me, like, comment, and share this stuff so more people can see what living the aquascape lifestyle is all about. I love my job. Good job.